Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with some of the colleagues today.
Ryan.
Dave.
And today we're going to talk about a MageForge, and we're going to go off our normal path on these, and we're going to talk about magical spell components.
Do we ever really have a normal path? But
we do.
Yeah, we were veering a little.
Somewhat. So, in the last game session I misused a spell, which Ted was nice enough to point out to me during the game.
Yeah.
So I misconstrued the actual duration at which you can use a Revivify. So apparently it's only like a minute.
Yes.
And, basically like a half hour, 45 minutes had gone by in game when I had an NPC use the Revivify on other NPCs.
But, one of the things that you actually did is, you twinned the spell and you crushed 2 diamonds. But when you twin a spell, you only need to use 1 component.
Is that true?
That's what I was told. I could be wrong on that.
I thought you needed double the components. I just assumed, but
it
was just thematic from the Crush the Diamonds.
We took that opportunity and said, okay, well, if obviously he used 2 things, the second thing was clearly, some kind of special thing that.
Well, that's what you took it as. I took it as you needed 2, and I then took it as, well, since it would have actually taken, it was the wrong duration. So I'm like, well, maybe they didn't use the regular components.
Maybe they use something else that will allow him to,
So as the GM, lie to your players is really what this comes down
that's
to.
what it comes down to.
Yeah, and then create something cool out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So now in the game, there is a special kind of diamond, which my players do not know about yet.
Right.
That will, basically extend the amount of time for the use of a spell, the duration.
Right.
I'm not even sure how that's written for duration because
basically it says, if you cast a spell over someone who has died within the last minute, you can bring them back to life. They come back at 1 hit point.
Now, so alternative spell components. Now, I have this skeleton of the Celestial. I think it was an angel. Now, if I ground that into a dust and take it, will it just make me stronger? Maybe
see things.
Maybe fight off the local constabulary. It'll take like 10 to bring me down or something. Yeah.
They'll have to extra color spray you.
That'll be like the that's like to make an Uber bull strength or something like that. Yeah, I think that might be.
So now with magical spell components, you can do a variety of stuff. Dave and I were talking off camera. Technically,
why would you do such a thing? We should just record surveillance all of our conversations.
Because you can't do that.
NSA.
They're like, we can.
We totally can. You remember that thing you're talking about that nobody was supposed to know about?
We know.
So, you could. I would make this incredibly rare, hard to find. Possibly quest item type situations. But you could even go so far as to say you could have components that have meta magic effects. I would make them, incredibly valuable, incredibly rare, so that it's not overused and, make sorcerers not useful in your game. Yeah. But for special occasions, it'd be really cool to be able to have that happen every so often. Yeah,
me and Ted disagreed on this one a little bit because it feels like to give that ability to all casters when it's really the sorcerers. It's the only thing that makes them special.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then again, they could use it too, but still.
If it's one of those things that happens like once pretty much in the campaign type of situation, that's out of a whole campaign arc,
you don't want them handed out like candy. Clearly.
Candy.
But as you said, once in a campaign arc, something that's like, all right, well, I'm going to save this for, just the right time.
And also too, maybe this thing only does one specific thing of the meta magics.
Absolutely, if you've got this flower that only blooms, once a year for 1 day, and you can use it to twin a spell. Okay, well, there's 1 of them per year. All right.
And that's all it does is twin. Yeah, that's the only meta magic it can be made into.
Right.
So there's that too. And I don't even know that they have to be super rare, but it just becomes a consumable resource or essentially magic item that the players can find. It's just, it's interesting.
Right.
For the twin spell, I'm almost imagining that there's actually a planar conjunction. And so maybe the astral and the prime are in conjunction, and it actually creates a duplicate that you can kind of collect both of those because then
The astral flower and the real flower.
Yeah, exactly. You collect the astral shadow and the real flower together, and you're able to make the component to make the twin spell from that.
But along the same lines is for spells that have a duration that is not concentration, you could wind up creating a magical spell component that actually increases that duration either by a set amount or a double.
Yeah, or the special component might even remove the concentration component to a spell. Like you could do like interesting things, and the point is like it's a little more limited resource. They have to choose when they're going to use it. It's not going to stick around, and it's not easily accessible to get more.
And as a consumable, it's just that once it's used, it's gone. And those type of magic items or those type of rewards are really cool to hand out because it's not an ongoing thing that's always going to affect.
If it was a bad call to have that thing in your game, it's not going to be lurking at the edges of your game, willing to like throw it off the hinges or whatever, like at any given moment.
And you want to find like interesting things to do with it as well. Like, perhaps it's a flower when it's ground up into a powder and used as a spell component. In addition to the normal spell components, you can now turn any non-fire spell into a fire spell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or maybe it lets you essentially cast that one spell as if you had Elemental Adept or whatever, the feat that gives you the bonus.
Yeah.
So there's almost innumerable number of options that you can do with this type of thing. Normally our MageForge, we create one thing, we give it a history, and there you go. This one we're giving ideas and options for you that you guys can be able to use and exploit to add to your game.
Yeah, like rare flowers, bones of an angel, or ground up unicorn penis, whatever you want to use in your game. Unicorn is not going to be wanting to give that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Willingly.
What about a mushroom that can only be used with the enlarged spell? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, some Super Mario Brothers action there. Yeah.
So, with that, guys, let us know what your idea is, how you would use special components. Maybe you're already using them in your game. Maybe you have a list of them. They're all named out and everything. Let us know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe.
You can patronize us in a good way over on patreon.com.
Or you can check out the articles on nerdarchy.com.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.